Welcome back to Tanya in 5. Today, we recap letter 5 in the Iggeret HaKodesh. In this letter, the Alter Rebbe explains how giving charity brings wholeness and completion to the divine name. The divine name is the system through which God expresses His energy within creation. Now, the process of creation is metaphorically compared to speech. That's how it is described in Torah. The 6 days of creation is, and God said, let there be light, and there was light, and so on and so forth. And this has been explained at length in Book 2 of Tanya in Shara Yichud V'Amunah. Now, when we think about speech, there is a great lot that goes into when we, as human beings, speak, beginning with our desire to speak, the idea we're going to express, our choice of words, and then finally the movements in our mouth that actually vocalize the sounds that we want to express. Now, let's zero in on the manner in which the actual vocalization of words is expressed and manifest in the physical, tangible world, in the sound waves in the air. There are really two components. Number one, there's the actual breath, the physical, tangible sound waves produced by my mouth. There's physical breath that I have to push out through my mouth, and then by hitting the various different points in my mouth, tongue, palate, and so on, and teeth, I produce the sound that I want. Then there is not the actual physical, tangible breath, but there is the shape of the sound. That is to say, there is the letter Aleph, an A, or there's a letter Beis, a B. Here there's one vowel, an A. Here there's another vowel, an O. Right? These are not physically tangible, but they are more the shape of the letter itself. Meaning the letter, the tangibility, the physical part of it is the actual breath, but then there is the shape of that breath, which produces a various different sounds that I desire. Now, it is in this shape of the letters, in the specific vocalization of the letters, not the tangibility. The tangibility is just the medium by which I, transmit those sounds from me to you. It's not the physical that you're getting, it's the idea expressed through the various different shapes that are put into that physical vocalization. So the shapes of the letter then are the spiritual ideas in the speech, not what you can touch on, the sound waves, that which reverberate through the air, but the shapes of the letters, the various different sounds, whether it's an A, an O, this vowel, that vowel, and so on and so forth. Moreover, these shapes of the letters contain within it a very deep desire on my part, on the speaker's part. You see, when I want to say the letter O or A, I don't have to consciously think about how to move my mouth to make those sounds. I just think about what's the word I'd like to say. And the moment I think of that, my mouth automatically, without any intelligible thought on my end, moves in such a way that it expresses the very precise sound that I want it to express. Right? You see, the breath, the physical part of the letters, that I have to inhale and express through my mouth. But then the shapes of the letters, the various different sounds of the letters, not the actual not the actual sound, but the type of sound, the shape of the sound. That is expressive of a very deep desire on my part, not even conscious. I just think of which words I want to say, and boom, my mouth moves in the exact right way to make those sounds. So the shape of the sound then represents the spiritual of the speech. My desire, my idea, whereas the physical sound produced by the lungs and the heart is just the medium by which we transmit the spirituality which is expressed in the shape of the letters from me to you. Now the same thing is true in the parallel, in the analog in creation. There's a spiritual worlds, there's great understanding of the divine, that which the souls appreciate in paradise. That's all the shape of the letters, the spirituality of divine energy. That's expressed in the letter Yud of God's name. The physicality of it, the very tangible, the material, that's expressed in the letter He. And that's what produces our physical world, which is so minute that the only way for it to interact with any lofty divine ideas is through the very physical, tangible, like human beings talking. The only way in which I can express my idea from you to you is by making physical sound waves. Now, when God invests in creation, it's a great kindness on his part. He expresses energy and diminishes it to such an extent that even a physical world like ours exists. Now, initially, when God created the world, that kindness was unprovoked. It was free giving. God just decided to create because there was no one there to elicit from God this desire to create. But ever since creation, it is now dependent on us, human beings, to behave in such a way that we elicit from God the desire to want to invest in our world in this lowly state of the most physicalized version of divine speech and energy. Now, when we invoke the divine energy, there's two components. There's the spiritual, our spiritual service of God, study of Torah. But if we want the divine energy to be invested all the way into this physical world, it requires a physical kindness on our part. And this is where charity comes in. When a person gives charity, giving to one who has less than oneself, this invokes from God the desire to give energy to a lowly world like ours, which has nothing on its own. The takeaway from all of this is, giving charity is not just about the recipient getting what he needs. If that's the case, let people who have more money than me give. Giving charity is not just about refining my character. If that's the case, I can study Torah to refine my character. But giving charity is also about fulfilling the divine purpose, bringing wholesomeness to the divine name, bringing wholesomeness to the divine system of creation. And for that, God is waiting for each one of us to play our part. Let's not keep him waiting too long. Looking forward to seeing you when we conclude letter 6.